I was just going to say I did my first recording in Zoom, not my favourite thing, and seemingly, Jenny said to me, "You were like a wee free." Do you know what a wee free is? It's very strict. It's not the Free Church of Scotland. It's even stricter than that. A small branch called the Wee Frees. So anyway, she said I looked like a wee free because I never smiled all the way through the video. And I was like, I'm really nervous now because I'm not a smiler. I'll have a laugh, but smiling is not my thing.
Okay.
So I'm going to try.
All right. Okay. So I'm here with Laura, and I get the honor of introducing her to everyone, to the rest of the church. So, Laura, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and where you currently are?
Okay, well, I'm Laura Simmonds. I'm originally from the Scottish Highlands, a town called Fort William. I have 3 children, Abby, Jonathan and Jacob. Jonathan and Jacob live in South Wales, and Abby lives in Dundee in Scotland. I have 6 grandchildren, and they're scattered between South Wales and Scotland, and I miss them all very much. I haven't been home for over a year because of the coronavirus, and it doesn't look as if I'm going to get back any time in the near future. So I just thank God for his goodness, for his protection over me and his protection over them, and I just pray that it will continue. So I became a Christian when I was working in Switzerland when I was 21. I was very much against Christianity. I was brought up in a religious home, and I wasn't really, I was going in the opposite direction. I was enjoying life, I was traveling, I was meeting new people, and I certainly wasn't looking for God. But along the way, some months after I arrived, I was invited to this by one of my good friends, invited me to a Christian rally, and I went because she was very good to me, and I felt I owed it to her to say yes. So I went along, and to cut a long story short, the message was very challenging, and it was the first time I'd heard a gospel message preached like that. And it did touch my heart, but I didn't make any response at that particular moment. But it wouldn't leave my mind. And that night, when I got home after an argument of, should I, shouldn't I decided I shouldn't, and I still enjoyed my life and went to bed. But I was woken at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I knew God was there, and I knew his voice. I didn't know his voice, but I knew it was his voice speaking into my heart, saying, "Now is the time, Laura," and presented himself to me and challenged my heart that I had opportunities in the past, and I knew about the way of salvation, but I rejected it. So I just, from going to bed that night, when not wanting to change my life, to that incident at 3 o'clock in the morning was completely different. There was no argument. I was overwhelmed and accepted Christ into my life, and that has been that night has been my strong force throughout life. Every time things have hit hard, or even in my Christian walk, when questions arose and where is God and things like that, I remember that night and his great compassion on me, who wasn't looking for him and doing my utmost to stay away from anything religious, and he called me and saved me and kept me. So it's that passion, and also the passion for France in itself. I mean, myself and my husband went to Bible college shortly after we were married, and after that we worked in Eastern Europe during the communist period, and then did some training in Switzerland with children for Child Evangelism Fellowship. It was all a really great experience, and but I remembered when I had been in Switzerland, I'd had the opportunity to go to France for a year, and I went to Marseille and worked in a mission house, and it was there. As a young person, I never saw any differences in religion. I knew that Catholics and Protestants were different, but I didn't realise how steeped the Catholic faith is in France. There was no other options at that particular point going back. It was the Catholic Church, and there was not many evangelical churches around at the time. And so I was quite shocked by that, and I think that's where I started to have a burden for the French people.
So what are you doing in France now?
Well, and I had during out that space where I'm telling you about, and then throughout the years towards 2003, after I had a serious operation and didn't think I would be much use for anything after that, God started to speak into my heart about France, which I thought was quite ridiculous. But anyway, there was more and more people coming into my life, challenged me about France, introducing things to me, and I started to take it serious about 2007 and came out to France just to see if things would work out and to test the waters. And from there, then I started to do a mission with Normandy, France, and Normandy, and just would go out for a month every year. And I thought that's all that God wanted me to do. I didn't think there would be a possibility of doing anything long term. And then in 2016, I heard about a church plant centre in Loches in France, in the Loire Valley, and I got the opportunity to come out. And from there, it just snowballed. I came every year for 3 years, and then they were starting a church plant in Descartes, where I am now, and I was invited to come and join the team. Asked if I would like to come and join the team. They knew about my background, so I said yes, and so I came. I was on a 2-year contract, and I spent 2 years with them and learned a lot, and a lot of challenges, but a lot of valuable lessons as well. And yes, it was a worthwhile time. And from there, I in this area I'm in, it's where the paper mill is. We built up, each one of us in the team had to work in their own area and start some type of outreach. So I started an outreach here. We'd have coffee afternoons, weekly invite monthly meals to invite neighbours, one-to-one visits to people that I got to know regularly, and so there was a good outreach going on. And then I joined the nearby evangelical church in Châtellerault, which is about 30 minutes away, and became associate missions partner with them, France Mission UK, and Cornerstone, my sending church. And so the role I have there is similar to what I do here. I work with either a retired pastor and his wife or 2 other ladies in the church, and we visit a lot of people from Châtellerault Church that can't get to the church now but are asking for visits. So we go and we read the scriptures, pray, share some time, coffee, tea, cakes, and all that with them, and it's a lovely time. We hear testimonies and different things like that. So that's recently started just last year, and then we were hoping for more opportunities of outreach, but the coronavirus started, so it's all on hold, but we've time to plan during this period. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. After the lockdown finished, I started going to certain of the regular people I see, the ones that I felt would work, and so I would be visiting them in the garden with a mask and all the stuff, and I've kept that going so far. I mean, I'm not quite sure how long it'll last, because I think we might be going into another lockdown, but it's been valuable because one couple and another woman, they've got long-term illnesses, quite serious, and there's been really good opportunities of often comfort, prayer, and just encouragement, and I share. They've given me permission to share photos and information with Cornerstone for prayer, so that's been really good. So that is why I'm here at the moment. How long I'll be here, I don't know. I don't know what my future is at all. So
So that brings up my last question, which is, if I'm just a person here in St. Andrews going to Cornerstone, what can I do to help support you? I mean, yeah.
Well, there's so much really. At the moment, I would value prayer, obviously. That I think that every person that's in full-time work will have the same thing about future. How can I know that there's great opportunities. I'm seeing it already during the coronavirus, and I think it's amazing the way the churches have all just taken the challenge up, and it's probably more people are getting reached now because of the coronavirus. But I'm praying that God will open doors here that it's going to be very difficult. You know, I can't think of what I can do. My mind's blank. I can't think of what I can do because we're not allowed to you know, get too close to people, touch and do the things that you normally do. So I pray for wisdom. I pray for an expectant heart, that I'll expect God to open supernatural ways for us to continue here. Yeah. And for things that I would never have imagined to happen. And so that's apart from prayer. And of course, my support is very much a matter of prayer, because especially at this moment, the economy is not good, and some people might not be sure of what they're supporting anymore if we're stuck in this phase at the moment. So I pray so much for that, and I just value prayer for France itself, for all the workers that are working here, the pastors and different leaders, because I just pray that there'll be we'll all be challenged afresh about why we're here, what we're doing, and that we'll keep our message pure. It's very easy to get sidetracked by the French. They love to discuss everything except for you know, eternal things. And so sometimes pastors get caught into that, and leaders get caught into that, and can sit in long debates, whatever. And I just pray that we'll get back to the basic gospel message. And so, yeah, that's a prayer request I have, really, just for the state of France, for us as workers here, and that we'll all rise to the challenge and be able to get something exciting to put in our newsletters.
Yep. All right. Well, it was wonderful getting to know you. Is there
I think I managed to smile too.
I think you did great. I think Jenny will be very pleased.
I hope so. I hope so. It was great meeting you too, Jeff. It was great.
Do you have any last things you want to share with the congregation here at Cornerstone?
Well, I just want to say thank you to Cornerstone. I mean, when I came into Cornerstone very quickly, I was overwhelmed. I came in with Sylvia, my friend, and I said to her, oh no, I can't cope with this. There's too many young people here, and they're all intellects. And I wasn't sure if I was going to come back. And she says, come next week. And I said, right, one more week. And I won't get into what happened then, but it was really an answer to prayer. And I'm just love the church. I feel so much part of it, and I'm so thankful that they took me on, an older missionary worker, and really encouraged me and stood by me in every way. And so, yeah, God is good, and I would like to say hi to Cornerstone Church, and to thank them for praying, thank them for their love and their fellowship.
Amen. I wish we all had a friend like Sylvia.
Yeah. And Jenny's not bad either. She keeps me going. Yeah, no, it's great.
All right. I think that's good.